The major waves of free agency have come and gone. What players are left? We're going to break that down for you today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins, and we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much.
Joe, as you said, kind of first frenzy of free agency is coming on. There's still talent left on the board. That's a big part of what we are looking at here today on the show. Some markets and positions have gone faster than others, but want to get everybody caught up with what's been going down. The last 24 hours since we last hopped on and recorded, we had Evan Ingram signed with the Broncos. That was a bigger deal. We had Dalvin Tomlinson signed with the Cardinals. So we got some big ones on the last 24 hours since we last hopped on with everybody.
Colston Loveland, Kyle, what a career he had for the Denver Broncos. What a run.
Colston Loveland legend.
I mean,
Denver Broncos.
You think about Shannon Sharp, Colston Loveland.
From December of 2024 to mid-March of 2025, Colston Loveland, Denver Broncos legend.
So yeah, Evan Ingram, he kind of fits what they're looking for, right? Doesn't help them in line. I thought that was one of the issues that, in kind of watching Denver later in the season, thought their run game really kind of missed those bodies on the edges, like the blocking tight ends, the fullbacks, utility blockers, and Ingram doesn't help them with that piece. But as the receiving piece of the Joker role, I certainly feel like there should be a lot to be excited about there for him and Sean Payton's offense.
Just sign Mercedes Lewis. He's out there.
Right.
Platoon it. Get Mo Alley Cox. Get a big body guy out there on the edge. You could draft one of these blockers or some blocking tight ends that I think have some receiving upside, but at least it takes the pressure off. And that's really what, if you're doing it right, free agency takes the pressure off of drafting for absolute need, unless you're Tennessee Titans GM John Robinson, legendary GM John Robinson, who came in every year with the mentality of I'm a draft for need with my first couple of picks every year.
Every year. He told us. Literally came out and said that. You mentioned Dalvin Tomlinson to the Cardinals.
Yeah, a big deal.
Yeah, he got a big deal. I like Dalvin Tomlinson, and these defensive tackles are getting paid. I kind of want to take an opportunity here to look at this Cardinals defense, because I feel like I've been talking for 2 or 3 years about they just don't have enough players in that front for me to take them seriously as a defense. But I feel like that's changing. Adding Dalvin Tomlinson and Josh Sweat that's pretty significant as an A-gap defender. And then, of course, I thought Josh Sweat was the prize for the defensive lineman in free agency. They got him for less than $20 million APY, which I think is an absolute steal. You combine that with, Darius Robinson was a first-round pick last year that kind of missed a year. That's going to be a nice piece to add to the pie. And then I can't quit Baron Browning, and neither can the Cardinals. They gave him a decent contract to come back and be a rush player. I feel like this is changing here for the Cardinals in this front seven.
Yeah, well, and then you contrast that with what's going on in this division. You think about the upheaval on the offensive side of the ball in Seattle. You think about the exodus of talent from San Francisco, and they're very clearly in a transition window. This is the right time to be cycling up if you're the Cardinals, and it's Gannon in year 3. The coach is in year 3. You've had your 2 foundational years. You show growth from year 1 to year 2. This is the right, and Monty, they had a large infusion of draft picks their first 2 years. I think they played this thing by the book, and I think them being aggressive in free agency and targeting a couple players to aggressively attack the weakness of that defensive line is the right way to play it, and it's going to be really interesting to see how it potentially pays dividends for them. And they gave But Jacoby Brissett got a pretty handsome contract to be the backup quarterback there behind Kyler Murray, too.
Yeah, kind of interesting there, right? Just probably wanting a hedge, right? To make sure, not that there's performance issues with Kyler, but like if he were to get injured,
right, you're protected and you should expect to stay competitive even if you have Kyler go down for any period of time.
Speaking of the NFC West, it finally happened, Kyle Crabbs. Mac Jones, Kyle Shanahan. The marriage.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's here.
We got him.
we couldn't take him at 3 because then that would have just been nuts, right? The kind of the back.
I get this 2-year, $7 million deal. Why not? Put a little heat on Brock Purdy, knowing that we got the teacher's pet in town,
brother. I mean, are we a little curious here? Not that I don't think Mac Jones is solving any team's quarterback problems, but there should be a reluctance to commit the big money to Brock Purdy. Now you got
the big bunny comes next month for Easter.
The big bunny, the big. You didn't let me off the hook for that one. But
no, I didn't. I
big money, funny. Big money, Brock. You can see how the B gets
big money, Brock. I like that. Yeah,
we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, and San Francisco's had a couple of interesting signs. Did you see the deal that they gave to Luke Farrell at tight end?
Yes, I did. We got to recalibrate our expectations as money, man.
3 years, almost $21 million, almost $7 million per year. They obviously moved on from Juszczyk.
Yeah.
But that one's interesting to me. Your second tight end? Is he going to be how long is he going to be your second tight end? George Kittle obviously pushing third.
Oh, he will always be the second tight end. I don't see a starter there. Do you?
For Luke Farrell?
Yeah.
I'm saying, what happens if they move on for George Kittle? In the midst of all of their other exoduses that's going on.
I guess anything's on the table, right? With San Francisco right now, it feels like.
I mean, Kittle is in a contract year with a $22 million cap charge.
They have cap space, Kyle.
They do have cap space, but Joey's 32. He's going to be 32 in October.
Did he maybe just have like his best season?
He did, but isn't that the motivation to do the hard thing and move on from a player a year too early than a year too late? And if you're going to tell me you're going to sign Luke Farrell to a $21 million contract for 3 seasons, it at least puts off some alarm bells in my head that says, hey, we're changing the dynamics of this tight end room a little bit.
I didn't come into this podcast today thinking about a George Kittle trade, but now we are.
I mean, isn't that a little conspicuous?
Yeah.
You?
It's a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
So I'm not saying anything imminent is happening there, but he's due from a salary perspective. It's $15 million. He's due 15 in his age 32 season in a contract year for a team that is letting everybody walk out the building in spite of having cap space, to your point. It's interesting.
All right. San Francisco's interesting. Another thing that's interesting to me is the Titans. In particular, this offensive line. Yeah, they gave all the money in the world to Dan Moore. And whatever. I mean, I think it's an overpay, but they certainly liked him. Kevin Zeitler, wasn't expecting that, right? I thought Zeitler was going to be a 1-year option for some team that's ready to go compete. He goes to Tennessee. I'm sure there's some influence with the coaching there. I mean, Bill Callahan, the legendary O-line coach. But Draymond Jones now added the mix, Cody Barton, Xavier Woods. I mean,
you know what the offensive line moves tell me?
Quarterback's coming?
I think you're probably going quarterback at 1. I think you're probably going to draft Cam Ward.
They probably should.
They should. I mean, you can get in the conversation of Abdul Carter and how much of a better edge rush prospect Abdul Carter is than Cam Ward is a quarterback prospect. But I think Cam Ward does check enough of those boxes that, you can tether yourself to this as the idea and the vision. And he has enough physical upside and tools to be a really exciting player. And versus contrasting to the draft class next year. I mean, it's a worthwhile conversation, but if trading down gets diminished in value because it's a down draft class, then what are you really going to get to move down from 1 to 3? And still, like, we've been talking about a couple of day 2 picks to move down from 1 to 3. You're not going to get an extra 1 to protect yourself to go up and get a quarterback next year in that hypothetical.
It's all on the table. And they obviously have a huge need at edge rush, but quarterback's more important, obviously.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to get into that only Will Levis on the roster. So there will be some additions there. All right, we're going to talk about the remaining players that your team can sign in free agency. We'll do offense here on the other side of it. Folks, be sure to stick with us. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you just stop managing your money and start building wealth. They have surprising insights. When I started using Monarch Money, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. Now I budget smarter and save more. It's all in one in terms of convenience. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Plus, it's easy to collaborate. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track your shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use Locked On NFL, our code at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code Locked On NFL for half off your first year.
All right, so we're doing offensive side of the ball. Quarterbacks, been some movement in this market, but not a lot of big-time commitments within this market. You obviously had Sam Darnold, got the 3-year, $100.5 million contract from Seattle. But then it was Fields and Daniel Jones on more middle-class contracts. And then you're anywhere from, Mariota got $8 on a 1 year, $8 million on a 1 year deal to come back to be the backup in Washington. And Zach Wilson got $6 million with plus incentives to be the backup in Miami. And then you had guys like Dalton signed for $4 per to go back to Carolina. That they got a jump on that one by getting that one done early. But Joe, we're still waiting on starters in Rodgers, Wilson, Gardner Minshew, Jameis Winston, as prominent names that we're waiting to see where the shoes drop. Kyle Trask just did one, I think, last night to go back to Tampa, this backup quarterback there.
Yeah, the names here are Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. And interesting that Cleveland, I didn't think Cleveland was going to be in on any of these like veterans.
They're hosting Russ.
Hosting Russ, yeah. And obviously there's the Kirk Cousins piece of whatever is going to happen with his availability, which I think could.
They will have you know they're keeping him unless you take him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got it. Sure. So there's that. Yeah, I think those are the names at quarterback. How about running back? Was Nick Chubb and J.K. Dobbins feel like the big names that your team
really
could go sign?
Guys that can't stay healthy right now. It's not a good place to be. Oh, you can put Raheem Mostert in that bucket too.
Yeah, Miles Sanders is part of the club. A.J. Dillon's back, right? Big thighs, A.J. Dillon.
Went to team up with Saquon Barkley in Philadelphia.
Are they on the same? Oh, that's right. Boy.
Yeah, they did that one yesterday.
Yo, we have 80 inches of thighs.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty crazy.
That's impressive.
So leg days in Philly are going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, hopefully they got enough bumper plates because they're going to be.
Did you hear the story that Stafford told on New Heights about Aaron Donald? Mm-hmm. This is like some Make-A-Wish kid, and the Make-A-Wish kid actually like chimed in and like replied to the story about like this story was really funny. But he was like, this kid, he went through these cancer treatments and he got better, but his wish was he wanted to like spend a day with Aaron Donald. So Aaron Donald met this kid and they took him to the weight room at the facility to go work out. And Stafford said he was walking down the hall and this kid, Rodgers pushed this kid, or Donald pushed this kid so hard in the weight room, he was like puking from the workout.
Oh no. Did AD know the circumstances?
Yeah, somebody was like, AD, man, like you gotta chill out, man.
Oh man.
But the kid replied to the story and he was like, Stafford forgot to mention the part where we went back in and finished the workout with Donald. So
yeah,
like,
let's
really
go.
Cool to hear from him after the fact. But I don't think they might be doing squats until they puke in Philly with AJ Dillon and Saquon Barkley in the running back room, but not a lot of appeal here, really, which is it's a good time to have that
Right.
amazingly good draft class where people keep telling us we're going to set records for numbers of running backs drafted.
I think there's going to be 50 drafted at this point. That's what I'm starting to hear. 50
every time you hear it, the number goes up.
It's like 30, too low. I mean, we could have 100 running backs drafted.
We might.
Yeah.
This might be the first draft ever where every pick is a running back.
How many? 255 picks this year?
57 this year.
Who's got the last one?
Chiefs.
Oh, nobody wants that.
Miami missed it by 1.
That's an all-time flub.
Giving the Chiefs the last pick of the draft.
Yeah, because now we have to that's got to be the lasting impression.
They'll trade it. We'll be fine.
I hope so.
We'll be fine. Wide receiver. Not a lot of movement here outside of some proactive deals that got done. I guess that's not fair to say. You had Darius Slayton got $12 million per, and Josh Palmer got $12 million per, and Tutu Atwell got $10 million. So you do have some middle class deals that got done, but really this was Godwin going back and passing up money to go back to Tampa Bay. T. Higgins on the franchise tag. Devontae Adams got the $23 million per from the Rams with, I think it was 26 guaranteed. So effectively 1 year, $26 million guaranteed, and then like a team option on the back end. But a lot of names that would have looked great 4 or 5 years ago.
Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, Cooper Kupp, Amari Cooper, Brandon Cooks, Tyler Lockett. Boy, that's a heck of a core 4 years ago.
Deontay Johnson, you could put on this list.
Yeah. Tyler Boyd, fits right in.
Mike Williams just went back last night or last afternoon to the Chargers.
Yeah. Do you feel like the upside player here, and maybe you're going to think I'm an idiot for saying this, but Elijah Moore? Like, is there a piece of you that's buying that there's, like, if you wanted an upside play at receiver,
yes.
The guy's had no quarterbacks his whole career, no stability. Yeah. Like, maybe
dude,
that'd be the guy I'd want to get.
He's still like 25.
I know.
So yes, that would be I wouldn't put him in the same camp as what we consider Jerry Jeudy to be.
Right.
But I think he's a better player than what he's had a chance to showcase himself to be. But how do you value that? How do you value that versus guys like Diami Brown getting $10 million per with like 450 receiving yards this year?
Elijah Moore's done more in the NFL than Diami Brown.
Right.
That complicates Elijah Moore's situation, right?
Yes. Makes it very challenging to get a valuation that you feel good about.
Yeah.
But then you have other guys like, would you say Matt Collins has done more in the NFL than Elijah Moore?
At least I know what I'm going to get.
But my point is, Matt Collins got 4.2 per. And then you also had Nick Westbrook-Akine got like 3.2.
Right, but they're going to block, they're going to play teams, there's a vertical element.
Right. But the upside with Elijah Moore would suggest he should get more than those players from a receiving upside perspective, but they're more proven and more established and more even keel players, and they're lower dollar amounts.
Seattle, go sign Elijah Moore. That's what we're trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Go
Good
sign
call.
him. Right. That's where he's got to go, right?
Yeah, I think so. And then, try to replace DK with like DJ Chark or something like that for a year.
Yeah, DJ, nobody will know. Nobody will know. Yeah.
Just put the initials on the back instead of the last name. You'll be fine. You'll get some people mixed up. Let's get tight ends in before the break.
Yeah, what Tyler Conklin's the name.
Not a lot to write home about here. Some guys that are long in the tooth, right? I think that's the Hayden Hurst and the Mercedes Lewises of the world are a couple of the top names here on this list. It should tell you all you need to know about the tight end market.
I don't think the NFL can have a year without Mercedes Lewis being on a team,
Right.
I
want to know what the Colts are going to do now that all these guys that have been like a part of their replace Mo Alley Cox rotation.
They're all here. Yeah.
Plus Mo Alley Cox are unrestricted free agents.
Kylan Granson as well. Maybe they will finally draft one in the first round. But I think the name is Tyler Conklin. Like, if you need a reasonable, like a playable tight end that can do something for your team, it's probably Tyler Conklin.
At this stage of their careers, yes. Because a lot of these guys, they'll be available in June and probably sign for vet minimum, and they'll just float it like Eric Saubert's done it the last
Yeah, exactly.
4 years, right? Like that guy's always available in June. You can sign him for $1.21 million and he'll play on your team and he'll play 15% of snaps and then he'll do it again next year.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of these guys probably are going to be destined for.
All right, we'll talk O-line and defense here on the other side of it, folks. Be sure to stick with us. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 of bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. I love to pick my favorites. I've got my eye on a few underdogs this year, and FanDuel makes it easy to back them with spreads, totals, and game props. Plus, you can stay in the action. With tournament games happening almost every day, there's always something exciting to bet on. Plus, it's easy and fast. The FanDuel app is simple to use, and when I win, I get paid instantly. There's no waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long.
Now, I know we got a lot to get to, but you know who Bo Brack is?
Yeah, I
know
Bo.
Yeah, on Cardinals, right?
Yeah.
He's put out an email that he got, and it's from one of those like marketing whatever things with the surveys, and it was most attractive or most handsome NFL head coach. Jonathan Gannon finished in first place.
No way, really?
In front of Mike McDonald, Kyle Shanahan, Shane Steichen, Matt LaFleur, the top 5.
Oh, I think there's a major. I've always thought Kevin Stefanski is a very handsome man.
Dave Canales is a handsome guy.
Oh boy, yeah, Dave.
Like we desperately need a recount here.
Yeah.
We had Kellen Moore finished in front of D'Amico Ryans.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, D'Amico's bald and beautiful. What are we doing here? You know,
that's just outrageous process. Yeah. I don't know what the survey here was, but I saw that come across the timeline on the ad break. I said I have to stand up for like Dave Canales and D'Amico Ryans here because we got guys like Shane Steichen and Kellen Moore finishing in front of these guys. Like that does not pass a sniff test from me.
Yeah, I need to know more about the
process.
I don't think this. Yeah, we got to redo that.
Recount. Yeah. All right, offensive line.
Which reminds me, we're not far away from our annual picture. It's coming.
Right, the owners meeting picture.
Yeah, be great.
Who's the guy who's gonna show up like Matt Rule a couple years ago, looking like he forgot his suitcase and rolled out of bed 5 minutes before the picture was taken?
God, I can't wait to find out. I don't know
if players were a part of it. Available interior offensive lineman Liam Eichenberg might be my pick for a guy who looked like he forgot his suitcase and just rolled out of bed for the photo.
Are you saying that if a team needs an offensive lineman, they should sign Liam Eichenberg and he will provide an answer for them?
Well, no, I'm not. I'm not at all. I'm saying Andre James. I know he had a down year versus.
What happened there? What happened there
this year? He didn't play well this year, but
it was like a very important re-signing last year. Like the center market was super robust. Andre James was a big name. Comes back to the team and they release him.
If I needed a center, I would kick the tires there. Josh Myers is off the board. 1 year, $3.5 million to the Jets.
I thought that was light, man.
Makes you wonder if that injury was a little more serious than they let on at the end of the year when he got hurt.
Yeah.
And then David Andrews is getting released this morning.
Yep.
So David Andrews, Andre James at center, I think are interesting names, but most of the center qualifying players are off the board. Offensive tackle. What do you like?
Kick the tires on Jed Wills and play him at right tackle and see what happens.
Right. It's probably not a bad idea if you need a body. Now, George Fant can still play a little bit.
Always hurt, but yeah, he can get you through a few games.
You've got Noteboom and Raduns as guys that have tackle, guard, flexes. Ideally, your 6th or 7th offensive lineman. But if you're looking for starters, I don't think.
Can we not do Cam Robinson? Can we be done there?
Is he not the best available starting tackle on this list?
There's no way he is.
I
was just watching.
Who? Over who?
I know.
Who are you putting over him?
You're going to the draft. You're going to the draft to get a tackle.
Right. Because I can't put Trent Brown over him at this stage. Kendall Lamb's still a good pass protector. I
thought he was retiring.
He sounds like he might have changed his mind.
Okay.
but he had a bulging disc in his back and like the whole left side of his body. He couldn't feel it the last game he played last year against Cleveland.
Those are not things I love hearing about 300-pound dudes in their 30s, that I need to play offensive line for me. It's going to be a pass.
So, proceed with caution. The guard market has some interesting names.
Yes. Scherf.
Becton.
Yeah.
Jenkins.
Shaq Mason.
Right. Will Hernandez.
Yeah.
Daniel Brunskill. Mark Lewinsky.
You can get a guard.
You can get a guard if you need a guard.
Yeah.
Joe, how are we going to do defense
We're going to fly.
All right. Well, you want to start? Let's do edge.
Yeah, I think there's names here. Azeez Ojulari, Von Miller. You want a pass rush specialer. Von can still do that for you. Dante Fowler.
Zadarius Smith got cut by Detroit.
That's the name. That's the name. If I wanted to get an edge right now, Zadarius Smith be the guy I'm after.
Yeah, I think so too.
Charles Omenihu, last year was a lost year for him. He tore his ACL late in 2023. Be a good year to try that, I think.
I think you have some optimism, though. Do you want to bet on the upside of Josh Uche?
Sure. I mean, Caleb on Chason, I thought had a good year last year too.
He did.
If you want,
we were never wrong, just early.
It takes time. Yeah, just like with Arden Key, it takes a little time sometimes.
Right.
Particularly with LSU hybrid edge rushers.
Proceed with caution with Braden Swinson, I guess.
Is that a player this year? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Davion Jones is their other defensive end, but more of might fit better with the defensive tackle conversation.
This is lean. This is lean.
Dude, these guys got paid.
Yep.
Malik Collins still got $10 million per.
Where did he go? I missed that one. Where did he go?
Malik Collins went to Cleveland.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Malik Collins goes to Cleveland for 2 for $20. DJ Jones re-signs in Denver for 13 per. Poona Ford gets 9 per from the Rams. BJ Hill re-signs with the Bengals for 11 per. Jerron Reed got 11 per. Bobby Brown got 7 per with incentives up to, I think, close to 8 per or 9 per. I think the incentives went up to 27. Kinlaw was 3 for 45. We just mentioned Dalvin Tomlinson got 2 for 29 with 16 guaranteed. Javon Hargrave got 2 for 30. Grady Jarrett.
That one was surprising. Hargrave 2 for 30 was surprising.
Yeah, because he obviously hurt and didn't really pop the
decline. He hadn't played the run in 3 years, right? I mean,
yeah. Tershawn Wharton got 3 for 54, and then the Bears found out that Grady Jarrett hit the market, and they bought him a plane ticket and signed him right away.
Yeah, that was quick. I feel like there's 2 players of interest to me. Fali Fatukasi, I think, could be a nose for you, and then Calais Campbell, whatever the right place is for him. If he's going to go, that'd be a player I'd be interested in.
Yep. No love for Raekwon Davis. No love for Morgan Fox or Austin Johnson or Derek Nottie or John Jenkins.
I mean, I got to do the Austin Johnson thing last year. He had 2 interceptions.
Yeah. Mike Pennell. This used to be a pro Mike Pennell podcast.
We still are.
The only playoff run was otherworldly.
Dude. I mean, honestly, playoff MVP. Don't they do that in hockey? The NHL, they have the playoff MVP.
Yeah. Is that what the Conn Smythe officially is?
You got to get into the name. You're getting crazy here, but yeah, the playoff MVP in 2023 in the NFL was Mike Pennell. There's no doubt about it.
Conn Smythe Trophy is awarded annually to the most valuable player of his team during the NHL's Stanley Cup playoffs.
Oh, unbelievable!
Nailed it.
Unbelievable poll.
Nailed it. All right,
linebackers. Yeah.
What do we like here?
EJ Speed. I like EJ Speed.
He's probably the best one on here. I mean,
Willie
it depends on how much you think Eric Kendricks still has in the tank.
Good year last year, but I'd probably be done there. Shaq Thompson, after multiple injuries, he's available.
Want to go special teams with Grugier Hill or Sion Takitaki as special teams guys?
Neville Hewitt's been a great special teamer. Yeah.
Neville Hewitt, low key going on this is year 10.
Yeah, unbelievable. Kaiser White as well.
Mm-hmm.
Devondre Campbell. You could get him.
Kick rocks, dude.
Nobody's signing that guy, right?
No. And then he came out all defiant after the fact, too. I'm like, okay.
He said I'm a rich man or something like
that.
Dude, it's over. If your team signs Devondre Campbell,
just tap.
Yeah,
just
that's
tap.
it. That's it.
Corner, it's a good thing it's a promising corner class because you ran out of options real quick here.
Right.
What, you got 4 guys got identical deals.
Mm-hmm.
Byron Murphy, Carlton Davis, Travarius Ward, and Paulson Adebo all get 3 for $54 at 18 per. We now have a new middle class of cornerback contracts after the ceiling went up with PS2 and then
Horn.
JC Horn. We didn't even really talk about that deal. I'd love to talk about that deal at some point. The JC Horn deal.
Yeah, we're in a crunch, so this won't be the great
time. I know. I don't want to open up the can of worms right now. I'm just saying I would remind me to remind you later to follow up on that. Can you guarantee Asante Samuel Jr. stays healthy?
Seems like there's a lot of concerns about that shoulder, man.
If you do, that's an appealing name. And then obviously Mike Hilton in the nickel. But outside of that, man, it's older guys like Bradbury and Douglas and Trey White. But that's
Shaq Griffin.
Dane Jackson. We get the whole Buffalo Bills secondary from 3 years ago is in here.
Hey, I'm sure a couple of them are coming back. So you telling me Dane Jackson's
opening now?
Hey, listen, we're just, every imaginable corner that's ever played for the Bills is out. Levi Wallace, you can go get him. You know.
You shouted out Shaq Griffin in the pre-show. You think that's the best option that's out here still from like a health play?
Yes.
Like
I think Shaq Griffin's been like low-key a decent player every single year.
Yeah.
And he had a good season for Minnesota this past year.
You want to put Mike Hilton in the nickel and rock and roll there. I think that's a great option for somebody. It's just obviously he's not the biggest corner and he's on the wrong side of 30.
What about Kendall Fuller? I mean, I know 2 concussions is not a great thing, but
two concussions, then he had another injury last year.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. So he had 3 separate injuries. 2 of them were concussions. Really slowed down after he came back from the second concussion, Joe. I mean, he really looked like he was hitting that age wall that exists for corners.
Noah Igbenogany.
Yeah. We'll find out how much everybody thinks that was just the Dan Quinn system in the nickel.
He played in the slot there. What
he did.
And they put Sandra still outside to accommodate.
Right,
what happened here?
Bozo situation. Now, I think with his physicality, like there was some question from Dolphins fans during that rookie contract stretch that he had of like, do you play him at safety? Can you play him in the nickel? But transitionally, like he really struggled in transitions. So then you got to play him on the body and play more in press coverage. He didn't have good instincts and things happen faster in the nickel. It's just a very challenging player to kind of get a grasp on. But I think somebody should definitely bet because he was a young guy that only transferred to the defensive side of the ball. What was his sophomore year at Auburn? Like he's still new at it. Like he's worth a bet. But how do you value that is the question.
We can't forget about Jeff Okudah. I think if he gets a 5th opportunity to prove himself, it could unlock.
This will finally be the time.
Yeah. There's a million safeties, so you're in luck there if you need a safety.
Yeah. Simmons, Von Bell, Rayshon Jenkins as guys that are more established players. Jordan Fuller,
Julian Blackmon,
Quandre Diggs. Julian Blackmon is a younger player, I think has some appeal. Baltimore put a right of first refusal tender on Ardarius Washington if you want to negotiate with him and see if you can get an offer in that Baltimore won't match. Lots of options here.
Yeah.
So there you go. We did it. That's going to do it for us here. Locked on NFL Scouting. I'm Kyle Crabbs. He's Joe Marino. Appreciate you guys as always for checking out the show. Make it a great rest of your day. Enjoy the signings that are on the way. We'll talk to you all again tomorrow.